Wilmington is an incredible place to live, but it's not for everyone. So before you start packing that moving truck, I want to give you the real pros and cons and what most locals like me wish more people understood. So let's talk about the first pro, and probably this is what gets most people's attention, and that's our beaches. We have some of the most beautiful beaches, crystal clear water, white sand. It's really amazing, but here's the thing about our beach town. It's not like most little beach towns. You still have the small beach town feel, but you also have community. We have great restaurants, coffee shops, but then we also have tons of live music. I personally am so excited for the summer because we're already seeing the summer concert series come out. We're seeing all these great local bands and also bands not from here show up and perform. Not only do we have all this great live music, but we have all kinds of other entertainment like kite festivals. We have a fireworks show down at Carolina Beach every Thursday night. There's just always something to do, so you're not just stuck of only going to the beach. And maybe if you don't live at the beach, it feels like you'd want to only go to the beach, but after 3 or 4 days, you might be looking for some other things to do. And Wilmington actually gives you a well-rounded vacation. Beach, shopping, history. There's so many things to do that takes you out of just the regular beach lifestyle and gives you a lot more culture and fun things to do. Now, number 2 is our historic district and all the coastal charm that comes with that. Our historic district is right on our local river walk, which runs along the Cape Fear River. And downtown, you're gonna find all kinds of really cool things, but one of my favorites is Thalian Hall. It's one of the last standing theaters from the 1800s, and we have done everything possible to maintain that history. Right now, it's going through a little bit of a refurbishment, but still holding on to that history. So in Wilmington, you can go to the beach during the day and then check out a theater play in the evening. Another great thing about our downtown is we have the Wilson Center. This is a fairly new venue for Wilmington, and here we see a lot of off-Broadway type performances. So we've seen The Color Purple, the Michael Jackson Broadway play. There's a lot to do there during the holidays as well. Wilmington is full of a ton of history, some not so great and some really cool things. We're known as a port city, and there's just a lot of trade that used to happen here and brought a lot of people into this community. So when you come to Wilmington, be sure to check out all that downtown has to offer, check out the local shops, and check out some of the old historic homes and see what Wilmington is really all about and how it all started. So now let's talk about the weather. Wilmington has the best weather. Would you believe that 215 days out of the year are sunny days? That is unbelievable, and that's why people want to be here. So if you like the sunshine and you like mild temperatures, Wilmington's probably going to be it for you. The other thing that most people don't realize is that between December and February, our average temperature is 59 degrees. So while we may have some cool days and maybe some frost and every once in a while some snow, our average temperature is 59 degrees in our winter. So if you're ready to give up your snow shovel or ready to put away your winter coats for good, Wilmington probably would be a great fit for you. So let's talk about Wilmington for location, lifestyle, and travel. While we do have a really small airport, the pro to that is that you can show up to your gate like an hour before you're supposed to leave, which is amazing. We do have direct flights to some of our bigger cities, which is great. And then our lifestyle here is just so chill. It's not like the great big city where there's so many people that you never know anybody. And in this town, we're able to do lots of things. Like we just passed our social districting in the Brooklyn Arts District, which means that you can go into your favorite bar, grab a drink, and then walk along the street and hang out with your friends. Every 4th Friday in Wilmington, we have what's called 4th Friday art galleries. Wilmington is full of arts and culture, and on the 4th Friday of every month, all of the local galleries open and they do like wine and appetizers, and you get to actually meet the artists and see all of their work, which is a really cool thing to do in a small town like Wilmington. I've mentioned that we have lots of concerts and lots of opportunities to see entertainers. We have Greenfield Lake Amphitheater. That is an amazing venue if you want a small, intimate feel, and to be able to hear local artists and also some of the bigger names like Brandi Carlile will perform here. Downtown, we also have our new Live Oak Pavilion that has been the venue for a lot of amazing big entertainers, and that's been a real draw to the Wilmington area. It's an outdoor concert venue, as most of ours are, because we do have those mild temperatures, and it's just a great way to get out, hang out with your friends, and enjoy a great night out in the community. So now I want to talk to you about the community of Wilmington, and it really is something special. We're here at the Rainbow Bridge at Greenfield Lake, and I just want to shout out Susan at Paw Project. She actually created this. The name of her nonprofit is Big Paw Project, and she does a ton in the community. But one thing when I think about community, I go back to 2019, and in 2019, I actually experienced a pretty extreme tragedy. I lost all 3 of my dogs in one night to blue-green algae poisoning after playing near a pond. Blue-green algae blooms are something that occur whenever it's hot and dry, and innocently I took my dogs to play fetch near a pond, and then that pond had the algae blooms on top, and the wind had blown those blooms into the mud, and their tennis ball actually grabbed those blooms, and they all passed away within 5 hours. Harpo, the namesake of our business, was one of those dogs. And this community rallied around me like something I never even anticipated happening. I lost my dogs right around midnight, and by the next morning, someone had created a GoFundMe account. There was so much money in that account, thousands of dollars, to help pay for the medical expenses, and thankfully I was able to take that money and pay it forward to actually do some things in the community to make sure that people were aware of the dangers of blue-green algae. But to be in a community where people actually know you and they care about you and they show up for you, that's what Wilmington is. I think back to our hurricanes and when we've had some extreme tragedies in communities and people show up and they cook meals and they go and help clean up debris. That's what Wilmington is. It's where we know our neighbors, we care about our neighbors, and we show up for them in a time of need. And so if you're looking for a community, one that you feel like you could just plug into and call that community your family, then Wilmington probably is a great fit for you. So let's talk about housing affordability, and this is one of our cons because we get phone calls all the time from people who think they can move to our beach town for like $250,000, and unfortunately, that's not a reality any longer. However, you can buy a nice home in and around this area starting in the lower 300s. We do go up very high whenever you're looking at beach properties. Wrightsville Beach, you're gonna get on that island for around $1 million plus. But we do have some of our smaller beaches that actually have more affordability. You can live at Carolina Beach or Curie Beach in the 500s to 700 range. Brunswick County beaches, also a little bit of a lower price point. But here's the great thing about Wilmington, that no matter where you live in Wilmington, you're about 20 to 30 minutes from one of the local beaches. So now we're standing at Wrightsville Beach, and this is known as Hurricane Alley because between 1950 and 1960, we had 10 hurricanes come through this area. 7 of them made landfall. Standing here, we're at 9 feet above sea level, and you can see some of our named hurricanes here, and that shows you how much above sea level we rose. So Hurricane Floyd was 12 feet above sea level, and then you look up at Hurricane Hazel, which is one that really destroyed this area. She was 17 feet above sea level. But one thing you should know that it's not always the beaches that get the most damage during the hurricanes, it's actually our rivers. And so while a lot of people move here and they're concerned about hurricanes, what you really should be thinking about is not the beaches, but the river locations. We always recommend flood insurance no matter what part of the area in Wilmington that you live in. And believe it or not, our flood insurance is actually pretty affordable. Wind and hail insurance is something that you're going to want to do your research on and talk to somebody whenever you're thinking about purchasing a home to see how the insurance actually impacts that area that you're looking at. Another con about Wilmington is the growth and then the traffic. So Wilmington grew pretty quickly over the last 5 years, and in that time we just weren't able to keep up with the infrastructure, and so our roads can become a little congested, especially during rush hours. So first thing in the morning, at the end of the day, there's quite a bit of traffic. And in the summer, everybody wants to be at those beautiful beaches, and so you can plan on having some traffic during those times. Another area that really sees some congestion is our Cape Fear Memorial Bridge. That's actually what connects Leland to Wilmington right over the Cape Fear River. And that area can get congested also, especially if there's an accident or something like that. So if you're looking to move to a town that doesn't have any traffic, Wilmington might not be the best fit for you, but if you're coming from a big city where there's a ton of traffic and your commute is an hour, Wilmington is going to feel like a breeze because our traffic isn't quite that bad. And while the summers in Wilmington are some of my favorite times, you should be aware of a couple of the cons that come along with our summer. First is bugs. We have a lot of bugs here. And I don't know if you've ever heard of water bugs, which most people that move here from other areas are really surprised by this, but they are big like cockroach bugs. So we have those. The other thing is that we have snakes, and I'm not sure where you live, but we do have some pretty dangerous snakes here. The copperhead and the water moccasin are the two that I think of the most. And so you have to be aware of those and not go jumping in any leaves or anything like that to watch out for the snakes. And then the last one, and this is the one that people get really excited about or either terrified about, we have alligators. And so these alligators are found in our retention ponds, they're in the Cape Fear River, they're even at places like Greenfield Lake. And so you do want to be aware of that and not go swimming in any of our fresh water systems like our ponds and rivers and lakes, because you could come across an alligator. So another con about Wilmington is the job market. And it's not that it's bad, it's just that you need to be aware of what you're getting into if you're coming to Wilmington. So Wilmington's not like Charlotte or DC. You're going to have to do your research, and if you work remotely, then you're gonna hit the jackpot here. But if you're in the medical field, education, even construction, there are job opportunities here, but you are gonna wanna take a look and see what is actually a fit for you, and is the income going to be enough to support your lifestyle. I'm Melissa Martin, born here, raised here, never found a reason to leave. I've helped over 200 families make a decision of where they wanted to plant their roots, and I'm happy to do that for you as well. Book a quick call with me in the link below, and I look forward to talking to you soon.